Holy B-grade Carmen Sandiego, Batman! Tiki here, and I am watching through Batman, the animated series, for the first time. And, folks, I gotta say, I have been legitimately really loving Season 4 so far. I went in with very low expectations because of the redesign, but it's been great. Even the episodes that the fan base aren't totally on board for, I'm pretty on board for. I wonder what this episode will be about. Oh, wait. Oh, what? Oh, God, oh, no, this isn't my Batman Dragon. Oh, God. Why'd it have to go so south so quick? Dragon, tell him why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago, I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we're talking about the ultimate thrill, which... Dragon, this is on my Mount Rushmore for worst episodes of the series, for my money.
If I'm interpreting if I'm just to snuff out your read, just based on our opening here, I'd say this is definitely of the New Adventures episodes, probably on your worst list.
Oh, it's below the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the New Adventures episodes. Yes. Yeah. It doesn't even deserve to be in the same sentence as barrels when it comes to the New Adventures episodes, to quote Roger Ebert.
Ebert said that?
Yeah, Ebert coined the whole, this movie is bottom of the barrel. It's below the bottom of the barrel. It doesn't even deserve to be in the same sentence as barrels.
Oh, what do you know?
Dragon, look. The Penguin stuff is fine. It's not the best Penguin stuff we've ever had, but it's nice to see Paul Williams. His presence is always welcome. I'm not going to say this episode is totally devoid of merit because of that. Oh, God, I got to tell you, though, literally everything else outside of Paul Williams, for the... Batgirl's okay. Batgirl, she's in this episode a little bit. She's fine. She's doing her thing. Nothing wrong there. This character, Drake, I hate this character so much. It is rare for me to get a fictional character that just gets under my skin to the point where, 20 minutes into the episode, I've just had enough of their BS, man. Do you remember that Bryan Cranston animated show we talked about for Christmas in July a couple years ago?
You're thinking of Supermansion, yes.
Yes, and I for the life of me I can't remember the name of the character.
Well, I know the character's name, but I don't want to repeat it. Just to...
Yeah, there's one character on there that really was just the whole show seemed okay, it wasn't really my thing, but then this one character just really dragged everything down.
Right.
Here's the thing with this episode, Dragon. Inherently, the concept of this villain, if I read it as, what if Tom Cruise went off the deep end? It's kind of fun. But the two things that really drag it down, I like the core concept of the villain. I like the idea
would it be fair to say you liked Act 1 of this episode? If I recall, Act 1 is not... We don't really do the thing with her until, after Act 1. So
I got to admit, I didn't really like a ton of it, just because as I'm about to get into, one of the big problems I had with her, and this is, from the get-go, is those puns, dude. I mean, look. I love Batman and Robin. I love Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. But those fuckers must have been self-aware when they did that. There's no way they weren't self-aware about how ridiculous that was. This is just it feels like Sawyer from Lost done wrong, Dragon. I know you don't really get that reference, but whatever. It feels because Sawyer from Lost is a character that had a ton of catchphrases, but they all landed. This feels like a character that's throwing out a ton of catchphrases, and they're all just falling flat. I hate the puns. I hate all the stuff with, Batman and me are meant to be because it's the thrill of the chase, and then she literally orgasms at the end. No! This episode is horrible! I mean, really, Drake, like I said, Penguin is fine. Batgirl is fine. Bruce Wayne, when he's not dealing with this ridiculous person is fine. But man, the presence of this one character that I'll go as far as to say this, Dragon. This is easily the worst character on Batman the Animated Series that I have come across, like without question.
Well,
this is
she is not worse than Nostromos.
I don't just for some reason Nostromos was silly, but he didn't have all the bad puns and all the cringy sexual tension and everything like that. Just this one, Nostromos, I will go as far as to say, is probably a worse episode than this, like structurally speaking.
Yeah, Prophecy of Doom.
Yeah. But I would say the character in her own right just. Oh, she grated on my last nerve, Dragon. She really did. So, let's get into the background. I feel like we've already given this episode more time than it deserves.
Well, there's not a lot of background
on it.
It's pretty simple. Okay, so the director on this was Dan Reba. He had done, Holiday Nights and Zatanna and Joker's Millions. I'm using those for a very specific reason because this episode is somewhat of an adaptation, therefore a little bit of Holiday Nights in there. And we have a lot of Penguin stuff, much like we got in Joker's Millions. Let's see. So the writer on this. So this is where things get tricky. So the writer on this was Hilary J. Bader. So she had done.
Is that who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
The woman who tried to incorporate all the messages into Batman.
No. They got rid of her long ago. So
okay.
Season 1, like that.
Okay.
Thinking of Sean Catherick Derrick, I believe.
Yes. That's the one.
Anyway, I always want to go back and check. I think they replaced her. I don't know if they replaced her with Alan Burnett. Alan Burnett was around during that time. So I want to say they replaced her with Alan Burnett. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Again, refocusing here. Okay. Hilary J. Bader. So she did You Scratch My Back, which is an episode you're iffy on. It's not full. It's not all the vitriol here, but
I wasn't a fan of it, but I don't think any of it really offended me.
It had really cool.
That's the thing, Dragon. This is the first animated series episode that just went from it wasn't really my thing to just straight up offending me.
So she also did Cold Comfort and let's see, she did a lot of the animated tie-ins, dating back to all the animated series comics. Yeah, she's definitely kind of a name that's around. Okay, so the studio worked on this. Coco and in parentheses Dong Yang, mainly
Dong
Coco.
Yang in name only.
Yep, in name only, unfortunately. But then still, again, Coco trying to go for the TMS stuff. And the animation does look really good for this episode. You get points there. So they did Holiday Nights, Cold Comfort.
We should start calling Don Yang in name only Demo. Demo.
I don't know about that, but that's again, they also the animation for You Scratch My Back. All right, okay, so Roxy Rocket, she was created way back during the animated series for the tie-in comics. They did an annual for the.
Oh, really? Okay. Because she feels like she was just plucked out of nowhere. That's interesting.
Would you agree that at least her design's really cool? Would you give her that much?
No, I wouldn't give her that much.
Really?
Do you remember what my holy was?
Oh, yeah, it was the. Right, holy.
B-grade Carmen Sandiego. That's what I think of her design and her character
someone
and everything about her. No, I mean her character. The design is I don't know. It's fine, I guess, but it just it calls to mind other better femme fatales of the '90s.
All right. Anyway, okay. The point being. So there was basically she's in really I can't say she's got a whole lot of comics here. She's only been made. She was in that one comic, and then they kind of brought her in the animated show at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Batman. She's in Batman once. She's in Superman once. So that's all. But you'll eventually get to that episode, though. Regardless, so basically, Paul D. and Bruce Timm created her in that comic. Which again, the comic pretty much adapts Act 1 of this story, which is pretty much he runs into her and kind of nabs her. And that's pretty much the end of it. Then she comes back another story in that same book, the annual. Where it's she kind of has a fate, Catwoman tries to frame her for a crime. It's pretty much.
So where does the ridiculous infatuation with Batman come in? Does that come in here?
I'm so glad you asked. So that,
as you can tell, Dragon, that's probably my big sticking point with this whole thing.
No, that's what I'm about to get to.
Okay, get to it.
So yes, so that's the anomaly of this episode. So again, the Bruce Timm Paul Dini version, that's pretty much again, it's okay, it's kind of It's like, yeah, basically it's a cat and mouse thrill seeker with a rocket. And again, she doesn't have an
Like I said,
obsession with
I'm
that.
fine with that, and I also really like in better hands. The backstory is interesting. It's like I said, it's kind of got a vibe of like, what if Tom Cruise went off the deep end?
Yeah, and basically the most that ever win in the comics is in that second story after Catwoman tries to frame her. It's pretty much like there's like at the end of the book there's like a tongue in cheek like, hey, maybe we could work together, ah. But it's not like a whole running flirtatious thing necessarily. Just maybe as far as it went in the first act is pretty much as far as it goes with the whole flirtation thing. But again, it's nothing really like obsessive. And the anime this episode though, none of the sexual stuff was there at all. I want to be clear, like not a lick of it. Nothing was there. Like none of the puns, none of that third act, the shtick that she's got with the end, like none of that was there.
Orgasming.
Well, what? Well, yeah.
On a kids show.
Yeah. Well, again, I told
fucking kidding me.
I told you this whole kids WV thing was weird.
I was not expecting that.
I told you it was weird.
I mean,
anyway.
Oh god, Dragon! It's a bigger climax than Roxy Richter in Scott Pilgrim, man. Oh.
So again, the idea is that Dini and Tim were trying to go for another kind of another Harley Quinn, that an original character they would create that they could possibly bring into the show, but they didn't really expect to come back with it until New Adventures got picked up. Therefore, Roxy Rocket again. They didn't do this episode though. It was just again, it kind of handed off to somebody else. So I'm not saying that necessarily would have saved it, but I'm saying I think Hilary J. Bader is mainly, for some reason, she's kind of the blame for why it went in such a weird direction. But also temper the rage of Hilary J. Bader. She's no longer with us. Just proviso. Just gonna
look. I'm reaching out on the character, Dragon. I'm not reaching out on anyone involved. I know creatives. I know what it's like. You have your off days, but I can reach out on the character, man.
Yeah, and Bruce Timm, though, he did weigh in on this real quick, and then we'll move into it. Bruce Timm said it's the most risque episode they ever did. So, and for Bruce Timm,
yeah, you can say that again.
And for Bruce Timm to say that, knowing what happens years later, that's saying something. So yeah, okay.
Okay, Trey, let's just rapid fire through this thing, man. I really don't want to give this episode any more attention than it needs.
Okay, so we have a Zeppelin heist. The big thing I gotta give this episode, I love how we utilize the Zeppelins in this episode, because the Zeppelins are always kind of around as police blimps. We actually get to do more stuff with it, which is like stuff years later Scott Snyder gets to do more with. So I just love actually making the Zeppelins a thing that makes sense. So we meet Roxy Rocket, who is, and again, I thought it was a great design given the whole backstory and the stunt woman, thrill-seeking stunt woman angle. I like the whole, she's dressed like, her stunts that we see in the Flash.
The jacket and the hair are what makes it feel very Carmen Sandiego.
Okay, first of all, Carmen Sandiego has like a long red trench coat. How is that remotely the same?
Oh my god. All right, whatever.
Anyway, the point being, so it's like kind of Amelia Earhart meets like a John Dillinger sort of thing they're going for here, with the design, it feels like, and again a very Bruce Timmish design, so it looks good to me. Anyway, so she's robbing the upper crust. She leaves the cubic zirconium ring, takes the fancy brooch. Anyway, so she's like, there's nowhere you can go. There's always down. Then there's a pretty cool idea. She jumps like from 30,000 feet up.
I know. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that right there is like, I don't like her attitude even from the start, and maybe this is just me totally nitpicking it.
I think it's you nitpicking. I really do.
The whole isn't it cool? It's just I don't know. It's a little cringe. I think
you're just pulling at threads that are already unraveling, Tiki. I don't know.
Fine. All right. So the skydiving sequence does get, of course, predictably interrupted by the bat, not the Batman, but literally the bat, the jet.
Well, when you think of the bat wing, but it's like. So you're going for a Dark Knight Rises joke. I'm just now realizing. Sorry about that.
Oh, I am going for a Dark Knight Rises joke. You're right. No, I didn't realize that the Dark Knight Rises was where the bat terminology came from.
Yeah, they came up with the bat thing. It was just,
I'm sorry.
There used to be the bat wing. Now it's just the bat planes.
Now I feel dumb. Yeah, of course it was the bat wing.
Right.
All right.
Anyway,
so she just rides on a rocket, which is just kind of like I don't know. You know, it's fun. It's fun. It kind of reminds me of something out of like, oh God, what was? Oh shoot.
Are you thinking of the '66 movie with the umbrellas, or are you
I'm
thinking of?
thinking of the Rocketeer.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, by the way, they made a toy for her, and I love the fact that it comes with a rocket when you buy it. So it's really kind of neat. I don't have it because again, Roxy Rocket's not my must-haves, but you know.
Not.
But again, it's like eventually again now
You
of
know
course
who's on all of our must-haves, Dragon?
the
Boss Pigs.
yeah. Yeah, I'd love to get to that point, but
Keeping that
unfortunately,
joke alive. Keeping that joke alive.
again, I just wish their toy line kept going on, man. That's the thing that bums me out that they stopped it. Now all those things are going
Do
to
they actually have a Boss Pigs toy anywhere in the world?
No, they don't.
I didn't. So.
No, but again, Tiki, they were going obscure with them, man. They could have gotten there eventually if they kept going. Anyway, all right. So anyway, so she uses she's kind of armed with a little model after Harley Quinn with a little flare gun. In this case, instead of a pop gun, it's a flare gun. As she's like fires at the pursuing helicopter, which then enter the bad plane. So again, it's a well conceived heist. It's like okay, they're gonna think she's like a jumper,
I
therefore
don't have a problem with this opening sequence, Dragon. It's energetic. It starts off, we're kind of like in the thick of the action. We don't really waste any time. I also love the Soder billboard.
That's a reference to Superman, by the way, because one of the Bibbo, Superman's supporting character, he's all about Soder, which is he calls soda Soder. It's kind of a running gag, and so they keep putting up these giant
Is it like Slusho in the J.J. Abrams verse?
I mean, I guess.
You know about Slusho?
I thought you were going to mention Slurm for a second there, but no, I don't.
No, Slusho is a Slurpee type drink that appears in most of the J.J. Abrams live action stuff.
Well, no, but the point being, every time you see Soda, it's a Superman reference. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so we have like a little we kind of tee up again, the game of chicken for Act 3. We kind of foreshadow it here as again, like we have this really cool setup in Act 1 where Batman's trying to head her off in this this train tunnel, like this bridge and train kind of. Well, so basically this kind of this tunnel, and the Batwing, because again the Batwing's now been rooted to the Batplane, therefore it can actually fit in this thing, which it would never with the giant flying saucer would never fit in this thing. So I love this. It's a move that's kind of like a nod to Batman Returns when he's in like the kind of the Bat gyro sort of like the Bat water ski thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he basically turns it like to avoid hitting something. He basically turns it to avoid hitting it at the last second, which is really cool, but causes the one wing to catch on fire. Then one of my favorite things in the episode, barring the Penguin stuff, when Batman he has to come into the Batcave hot because the wings caught on fire. She gets away. She's looking forward to the next time. Anyway, so he tells Alfred, I gotta come in.
Also, thank you for just skipping over all the puns that she makes because I literally don't want to repeat a single one of them. They're all just so interchangeable to me.
Of course, like the whole first date thing, yeah.
Oh, first date. Oh, Dragon. At first, I thought that was just a pun. Yeah. I thought that was just a pun. Little did I know.
So that's what I'm saying. So if they left it at that, if they
left it at that, I would absolutely I would still find the character annoying because of the puns, but I wouldn't be offended. You know what I mean?
So you got to admit the puns are light in Act 1 for the most part. They're pretty light in Act 1.
It's literally Dragon. I'm saying she's Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. She just speaks in puns, but it doesn't have like the tongue-in-cheek vibe that Schwarzenegger Freeze does.
Okay, anyway, so Batman's kind of doing a crash landing as the wings catching on fire to the Batcave, and I love like seeing him enter the Batcave. And I love like this contingency of like it has like this kind of crash land catch system in place where like all these elastic kind of wires catch the Batplane as it kind of comes in hot and then extinguishes the flame. That's awesome, yeah. And Alfred, of course, with the winning. Speaking of the very few good lines, Alfred has a great line. That's coming out of your allowance, sir. Like, yeah, Alfred, for the win, yeah.
All right, so we have Bruce, and I believe is Batgirl there too.
Yes. Okay, so yes, yeah. Batgirl's in pretty much like an Oracle role this episode. She's doing pretty the research.
Much,
And again, so this is pretty much the last of the comic story that gets adapted here. Basically, we learn about her backstory. Where
Oh,
we learn here, and again, the backstory I thought the backstory
oh
was really good
God,
on Roxy Rocket. I mean, I like the
Dragon,
idea.
did you ever hear the the leaked audio of Tom Cruise going apeshit on the Mission Impossible
Okay,
set?
it's funny. I heard that recently. People have been saying like he's like the new Christian Bale because of some rant on the set of the
Yes,
movie. I
but
have
I
not
think
heard
it's
that.
more understandable than Christian Bale is because he's literally ranting against idiots who refuse to wear their masks, and I think
Oh,
that's something we can all agree on.
oh, sure.
But but no, Dragon. So what if making Mission Impossible with like all the COVID shit? What if that just breaks Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise just becomes a supervillain? That's what I think of when I think of this origin story. I really do. Because the whole point of the origin story is like, no, I don't need a stunt man. I'm going to do more dangerous and more dangerous stunts. And I'm watching this and I'm like, we're already kind of here with Cruise at this
Yeah, we're
point.
waiting. We're waiting to do a snuff movie with Tom Cruise. We're just
Right.
waiting to see him kill himself with a stunt on screen at this point.
So I feel like in retrospect, this is kind of an interesting mirror to Tom Cruise's career.
In a sense, sure, sure. But seriously, I do really like this whole backstory of like, okay, we take a stunt woman, and like we see like the origin of the aviator look with like the stunts she's done like on planes and everything, like doubling men and women, and the idea that she became so this is a very Deanie idea here, which is she became so dangerous and so like hungry for the next stunt. No studio would insure her, which let her get fired. And then Babin's like, so she's exacting revenge. And again, Batgirl wasn't in the scene in the comics. This is where the episode begins. The kind of slowly begins the diverging point from like the Deanie of it all. So this is where we start to get into the whole. Batgirl suggests, well, now she's had a taste of you. She's she's after the thrill, and after a taste of you, she's I don't think she's gonna be settling down anytime soon.
Oh God! All right. Okay, so let's get to one of the bright spots of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Paul Williams.
Oh yeah, so
So Paul,
Batman.
how you doing? Thanks for coming on the podcast. If only, if only.
Oh my God, I would ask him so many things. I mean, one because he never talks about Batman the Animated Series. I want to ask him so much about.
Okay.
Anyway, that and the whole Still Alive documentary. But anyway, okay, so Batman smartly, and this is great detective work. Batman smartly figures out that she'll need a fence for the stolen goods, and he put task Batgirl to find out who it is. We, the audience, learn that is none other than the Penguin, and we go to the Iceberg Lounge, and this is my favorite element of the episode, the Penguin. What we do with him here, we kind of teased it up in the Joker's Millions episode. We actually get to see how his business works here, which is really cool. We get to do this a couple other times in the season. But he's using the club as a front for his side business, which again is pretty much fencing all the stolen goods. Like I just love the idea that the Penguin, he's basking in the success and the whole he's gone legit. But in reality, he's not doing the dirty work anymore. The criminals are coming to him, and it's just great. He's taking in the goods and
Penguin
network.
weirdly has like one of the bigger arcs of any villain on this show. I would
Absolutely,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So he's
good
got.
stuff there.
I like the. What do you feel about the bird puns? Because I like the bird puns with the Penguin.
I always like bird puns with Penguin. I mean, that's in his character. But again, like, I'm sorry to say this, Dragon, but once again, it really is just, like, literally everything out of her mouth is some sort of pun.
Mm.
It's like this character refuses to speak without a pun.
Right. So, we have, like, this very
I
bird-like...
fucking challenge you to find a line of hers that's not a pun. I'm serious.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you'd call it a... I might have. I don't know if it's a pun. I guess you could rule on it once we get to it. We're going to get to it in a second here. Okay, so, all right, so again, we have this bird-laden conversation about, the looting and the whole, like, well, it ain't chicken feed. And again, she's matching his puns. I'm not saying that's the example. I'm just saying she's matching his puns. That doesn't count.
I would just love to see a pun off between her and Schwarzenegger Freeze.
Good. Anyway, so of course he tosses her some money for your nest egg. So I love how the Penguin does business, man. This is great. And Roxy offers like this high card, low card thing. It's like double or nothing. Unlike you, my dear, I don't take unnecessary risk. Which again, I love that being the Penguin's new MO. He's going for the quasi legitimacy. He doesn't have to he's not greedy. He just wants the thing to keep going. He just wants it to keep going, kind of keep his little niche open in Gotham, keep all the business coming to him. She reveals he would have won because he would have had an ace. A Penguin is voicing concerns, as Tiki is. Imagine Penguin's voicing concerns over Roxy Rocket's thrill seeking, and now he wants her. I want you to tone it down. Like, put that on a bumper sticker. That's Tiki's thoughts for the episode. I want you to
pretty
tone
much.
It down.
Yes.
Because the chances that she takes tone it down, and she's like, what's the fun in that? So she's like teasing the sea lion in the water. And again, there's a nice little tense bit in the scene too. Like, she's like, "Oh god, there's a sea lion gonna." She's just really on the edge, man. She's Tom Cruise incarnate. This isn't a movie. I'm a legitimate businessman now. I don't want to draw attention to myself. I can't afford my associates getting the Batman excited. And of course, she says, "Oh, he lives for the chase, and I was the best he ever had." So then we have I gotta admit, I like that we do a classy version. This is the line I'm getting at right here with Roxy Rocket, by the way. So I love that we have the classy version of the Batman Returns, the icky Batman Returns proposition between Penguin and Catwoman here, where says, "Have you ever been pursued by a bird of prey? Sorry, Pengy. Some things are too scary even for me." That's a good line. Come on.
That's like her best line in the episode, right? I think.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's her best line of the episode. That is a nice exchange. I think it's the classic.
It's still a pun, but it's a good pun.
Really? Is it? Yeah. Would that be a pun though?
I think that's a pun.
I mean, it's pun-ish, but okay. Well, fine. All right. Okay. Anyway, okay, so Penguin. I love that Penguin's actually trying to help her, and he's being awfully patient with her. And yet, I'm on Penguin's side absolutely in this episode.
I am 1,000% on Penguin's side.
Wait, but he's trying to okay, look, just I want to keep working with you. Just keep it safe, play it safer, all right? Stop antagonizing the Bat.
Right, she's like the ultimate problem employee, man, just on a very base level.
That she is. And of course, we're going to see how she heeds that warning as we go to Wayne Enterprises.
Right, I will admit, I like getting a glimpse of Lucius Fox. I like seeing Bruce Wayne in business mode. That was nice, the little glimpse we get at it.
Yep. And there's a really funny joke in this scene, by the way. I love, okay, so they're presenting the recent acquisition for Wayne Enterprises, which is Woman in Transition. It's a small little... It's almost like a Matisse painting or something, like a parody of Matisse painting or something. Anyway, so Bruce Wayne, we finally have earned this after a lot of bidding, and then Bruce Wayne just kind of chimes in with a great line there, and a king's ransom kind of cracks up the room. Oh, Bruce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like seeing Bruce in that kind of mode. I'll take it wherever I can get it.
And we have this funny, and Walla, you know what Walla is, right?
Who?
Walla. It's the voice acting term.
I should know what it is, but I don't.
Okay, so Walla is just the forced background dialogue, where again, if a scene's too quiet, you can't have it be completely silent, so you have background chatter that's sometimes really funny improvised or really generic lines, like "Who's that? Look who walked in." It's sounds really generic, and sometimes you can really. I
did catch some of that on this episode,
and here they made it really funny. So here, the Wall is essentially
it's kind of small. My kid could do better than that.
I love that. So crappy. When you watch, I had some fun surprises oh my god, hilarious.
The people at Wayne Enterprises are just not easily impressed.
Because I'm not impressed by it at all either.
Well, I'm not either.
I love that we voiced that Wayne Enterprises.
Right.
So funny. They paid the king's ransom and it sucks. That's hilarious.
It's going to be pretty much the basis for the rest of the episode, right?
It's just kind of a great satire on the fancy art world where sometimes, folks, expensive doesn't mean good.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right, so Bruce's ass is questioning Lucius about the light security for such an important little tiny painting.
No way. No one can get up here. We've got all the elevators secured. We've got the entrances and exits secured. No one is getting up here.
You got to admit, this is a really cool entrance, though. She just crashes through the window.
It's a cool visual gag, yeah.
Again, her riding on a rocket can be really cool. Again, gets iffy by the third act. I won't lie, but still.
I just think my problem with the rocket thing, Dragon, is that it feels very out of tone with the show, if you know what I mean.
It's
like something that would be on Looney Tunes.
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. But then
The Rock just looks like something that's made by the Acme Corporation.
yeah, it seems a little more grounded than that. It seems like in that vein, but a grounded version of that, you know?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Bruce Wayne, this is an awesome moment. Bruce Wayne, as all the chaos is unfurling, the Rock just crashes through the window and it's causing chaos in the boardroom. Bruce slyly exits amidst the chaos. And you see him slip out that door. Oh, Bruce! There he is! He's slipping out that door again! So, of course, like she's going, again, these are, this isn't really funny. This is also kind of okay. It's just like a bold statement. Fine.
Not every single line is a pun.
Forceful and small enough to fit in the saddlebag. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it is convenient. Like, this thing is purely made to fit in that tiny saddlebag. That's the only reason that's small.
All right, you're right. It's like a perfect fit.
I know. I love we're kind of calling that out. Who would buy? Basically, it's a plot contrivance, no question. But I love that we're just making fun of it. Okay, so Roxy then fires this bat flare, which creates like this fireworks in the shape of a bat.
Yeah, explain this, Dragon. Is she like trying to summon him, or
yeah,
what?
She's trying to summon him to get chased. Yeah.
Oh, God, let's rumba, and then from here the episode pretty much falls.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lot of the good stuff is kind of.
We just yada past a lot of
this.
Let me
put it this way: the only good stuff I'm really gonna be able to say is some of the animation stuff, which we'll get to, which is gonna be. Okay, so the point being, you got
one chase scene with a really cringy ending.
Well, we'll get there. Anyway, so we have the act. Basically, there's a chase per act, and now we're in Act 2, which now she's in sight. She's taunted. She wants Batman. She's literally summoned Batman to chase her. So they're basically going. There's this really interesting sequence where they go through the bridge and tunnel section of Gotham, which is like it's really confined. You have like all these parked cars and Batman. Yeah. So this is important though. Okay, so Batman's wearing the jet glider. Now this is really cool. Now this is from World's Finest. He wore this in the Superman crossover. And this is like the only variant. Remember all those stupid, ridiculous variant, like very Schumacher-esque Batman toys. Like it's Arctic Batman, it's Flamethrower Batman, like all those stupid.
Right, when I was a child of the '90s, of course, I remember that.
This is like the one version that actually makes sense that you would actually kind of want. Like, yeah, it's Batman with the jet glider. It's kind of cool. It's toyetic in a good way for a change. Like,
I just say Arctic Batman was a fixture of my toy collection.
Exactly. So this is like, I love that we've legitimized like one of those here, you know? All right, so anyway, so Batman, like, I love Batman like going at high speed trying to keep up with her, pursuing her, and he's dodging cars and trucks, and there's this great bit where he's under like the undercarriage of this truck when he's kind of scratching the ground. That's really cool. And you got some fun, like it's like a good animation there, and also there's a foreshadow Tiki to the episode that I don't know how you're going to take it, given how you felt about this one, because there's an actually bad episode coming up.
You don't think this is a bad episode in your terminology?
I mean like a really bad episode.
Okay.
Farmer Brown. We have Farmer Brown's chicken truck. So Farmer Brown's going to come back.
Yeah, I've read up on that episode, and to me it sounds more up my alley than this. But
that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. I mean, it's probably going to end up being up your alley, but I'm saying it's.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
That's the most infamous episode, no question.
Even more infamous than I've got Batman in my basement. More infamous than that.
I mean, I'm saying it's the equivalent of I've got Batman in my basement for the animated series. This is the New Adventures version of that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's more infamous than I've got Batman in my basement, but again, that's because I like that episode more than most people. But anyway.
Same.
I know, exactly. So, anyway, so the point being a little bit of setup there, Farmer Brown for critters. So out of the tunnel, like Batman tosses an electric batarang. They end up in this construction site. Batman, he's kind of callously ditches the flight gear on top of the crashed rocket. It's like, oh, come on, man, that's good equipment. Why are you just tossing it like that? Anyway, so okay, so they're on the high rises. Roxy's being a little flirtatious there. Like, Batman, you missed your call, and you could have been in the movies. Give it up. Not in my nature. Mine neither. That's what makes us the perfect.
That was a good Batman line. I'll state that for the record.
To be fair, Batman is really in character this episode.
He is. He's
always in character for the most part. Rarely is he ever out of character. So anyway, so she tosses the painting. This is a cool bit there. She tosses the painting, knowing Batman's going to go after it. He goes for the leap. He catches it, and now he's hanging by like one of the iron girders as she goes for her contingency, which she blows up a rocket. Which I gotta admit, that rocket, there's no way. I guess there's like rocket fuel in there, so therefore be a giant explosion. Anyway, big old explosion. she gets away, jumps onto a giant balloon zeppelin thing, and escapes.
Just why not?
Yeah, well, I like that we're selling the zeppelin, like the zeppelin tours in Gotham. It's the main, it's the tourist trap. I like it. All right, so meanwhile, Batgirl, she calls in with a lead. She found out who the silent partner is, cut to the Penguin.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite scene in the action and in the episode, and probably the one time I actually decently like what the character is doing.
Yes. Also, a little setup for Batman Beyond. The Batgirl sources, which are these streetwalkers, they're gonna come back and return to the Joker.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Little
Yeah,
fun
I
fact.
just assumed they were like Barbara's college friends or something.
No. I mean, they're pretty assumably streetwalkers. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, the point being that kind of leads to what Penguin's doing after hours, perhaps. Anyway, so Penguin, understandably upset at Roxy throwing herself at Batman very literally. But of course, he's worried these crimes can now be connected to him, which means he's going to have to deal with Batman, which he does not want. And Roxy, she's trying to say, okay, one, Batman won't catch me, and two, I'm not a pigeon. I won't squawk.
Mm-hmm. But Penguin, he's not taking any of this lightly. He's pointing his umbrella, and I assure you, it's not filled with birdseed.
God, I love it when he uses the trick umbrella, man, and
it's super intimidating.
This is a fun scene here. Where again, Penguin
it is. I won't deny that. Yeah,
gave her every opportunity, and she's trying to play the old sympathy card from the earlier scene that she spat in his face, or essentially with, "I thought you liked me." Oh, I do, and this is kind of a nice internal callback. It says, "I do, but an old bird like me can't afford flights of fantasy." It's kind of like it's a little birds of a feather reference where Penguin's not going to be taken in by a woman again after what happened in that episode. Like a fake relationship. He's never going to fall for that again. It's kind of, I don't know. I kind of read it like that. Anyway. Right, so the action scene
thing that she does, Dragon. The one legitimately really cool thing that she does in this whole episode is the thing with the seal.
Yeah, sea lion. I think
sea lion. Yeah.
So
I really like her taming the sea lion and riding it, and maybe that's just because I live near San Francisco. I have an affinity for sea lions. I think sea lions are just cool and neat, and I like them. But yeah, I don't know. That was cool. That was like the coolest thing that she did the whole episode. I thought.
We kind of saw that Penguin had something in the water. This is the first episode we see. Oh my God, he's got full on I thought it was like seals, but no, they're full on sea lions with ravenous teeth and everything. These guys are these mean business. I love it. It adds an edge to the Penguin with the big gimmick of there's the giant iceberg, but there's some Arctic life in the water here, which is quite dangerous. Gives him an edge. I like basically we've turned Penguin into Sidney Greenstreet, and I love it. We give him kind of he's the fat man, he's the fat fence essentially of Gotham, which is great. So of course Penguin, he thinks she's been eaten, my way would have been much more pleasant. That's the refinement of the Penguin. He didn't want to ever being eaten by his precious sea lions. No, I would have just shot her and would have been over with. So she's alive. She's riding the seals. She escapes, and Penguin ascends his hench girls, which is also a really great call of New Adventures. We gave Penguin not just generic henchmen; we gave him these waitresses who are also his hench girls, which I always thought was a great move.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool aesthetic. Kind of changes things up a bit. Anyway, so the point is clip her wings permanently, so he wants her silenced before Batman's onto him. Okay, so then we have one of the great scenes. Oh, I love this scene. The great scene. The penthouse.
Yep.
Yes. So we're at Penguin's penthouse, which has a bird-like gargoyle outside of it, which is really cool. Penguin has a really nice bathroom, by the way. It's a really nice Penguin fixtures built into it.
He does. Yeah.
I love Penguin's penthouse. Is awesome. This is one of the great scenes for New Adventures too, or one of the great interrogation scenes. So. We have a bat entrance in the medicine cabinet reflection where Penguin's opening it and oh, there he is, and then boom, great interrogation. Batman is tossing Penguin around his own room, and Penguin being really crafty here. He's trying to push himself against the wall because he has a little contingency in place here. Batman's pointing out, being the detective, you gave your muscle the night off, which is a clue as to why would the Penguin's muscle not be around because they're going after Roxy. Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to drop in. So Penguin. So he's asking about Roxy Rocket, and this is great too. Batman has already inspected the room because he points out this ring from the Zeppelin heist. Found it in your pocket. As we pan over the Penguin's jacket. Nice, very nice. Detective and the interrogator. I love it. You never could resist keeping a bauble or two. Again, the old life versus the new rules the Penguin's trying to play by Batman just calling him out outright, which is cool. Would you mind showing me your search warrant? Again, Penguin just like throwing it back at him, and of course, as he does this, he's near the umbrella holder. He hits like the little button, little foot pedal thing, and then a Tommy gun pops out. He's shooting the crap out of the room. Batman's dodging gunfire, trying to ventilate an intruder, as Penguin could probably claim legally. Batman appears, tosses Penguin through the glass doors to the balcony. There's this great little bit with the monocle, where Penguin's like putting the monocle on his eye, and then we have the money shot. Batman grabbing the Penguin by the scruff of his robe, holding him over the side of the balcony.
Little slipper falls off.
Yeah, the little slipper falls off. And then Batman has the great line, and one of the great Conroy delivers. Let's say we have a little talk, just like old times. Because
you don't need to see anything else. It just cuts there. That's great.
I love the way Conroy delivered that, because you feel like him oozing the whole resentment over the Penguin's success in that line. You just feel like, I hate that this guy is passing off as legitimate. Let's talk like old times, because this is who you really are.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Okay.
Just a little fun fact that popped up on Amazon, Dragon, that I think is actually kind of relevant for the episode. Paul Williams is an avid skydiver. He has completed more than 100 jumps as of 1980.
Remember, we know this from the Still Alive documentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just think that's a cool kind of like tangentially related fun fact.
Yeah, the whole thrill-seeking aspect.
Yeah.
That's a good call. I'm glad you brought that up. All right. So point being, Batman, obviously, he's going to get some answers. We'll need to see him. Meanwhile, Raven, Jay, and Lark, by the way, these are like his main hench girls. They pop up anytime he has hench girls. I like that we kind of keep the same kind of the consistency, which is kind of what New Adventures has going for it. You know, we bring back things. They find Roxy Rocket in a little studio hideout, which makes sense. The whole movie aspect. I guess that's kind of cool. She fights him all with a big wrench. Got some some stunt fighting here. Puts him in a plane. Fakes him out. They end up in a biplane. They end up crashing their water tower. A little Warner Brothers reference, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Batman's on the scene. He mounts as Roxy's getting away. He mounts a rocket for the escape. So he's giving chase in her spare. And again, I do like the progression of the episode here with the 3 chase scenes per act here, where basically Batman he was in the bat plane to like on the bat glider to now he's literally on one of her rockets. That's kind of a nice little progression there. Then things are going to take a turn, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. It's literally just like a chase scene with a bunch of innuendo and then a literal climax. I mean, I really like. I've got nothing at this point, Trek, and I've kind of beat it into submission.
Now you see why he was climax in the last dozier for the other episode. You get.
Oh yes, I do. Oh boy, it's uncomfortable.
Okay, so to give credit where credit's due here before things get weird. Okay, so before things get weird, what I liked that the episode was doing is as Batman, of course, he's like pulling some fancy moves here as he like grapples onto her rocket after his goes down. And basically, we enter this game of chicken yet again, where Batman's on her rocket, and basically he's not blinking here. The climax is a game of chicken where it's like, okay, she's egging Batman on and on not to give up, essentially, like, hey, we're going to ride this out. And if you jump, you could land in the water, but if you wait too long, you're going to crash and you're going to die. She's waiting for him to blink and him to give up to basically win their little kind of cat and mouse game. But Batman's not blinking. He folds his arms, and I love Batman for what seems to be him outsmarting the villain with their own psychology. And he like grabs her hand when she eventually blinks, like confronts her, like, I thought you liked risk. It was like he's just really throwing it in her face there, I thought you enjoyed risk. Okay, you're gonna taste of your own medicine now. This is not a game. You're playing a dangerous game. You got to sober up. You got to stop with this crazy kind of Tom Cruisian behavior right now. Which then leads to a weird twist, and this is where we kind of throw all that good stuff out the window, admittedly. So Roxy is getting off to the thought of the last stunt with Batman, essentially.
Oh my god! Just as soon as it happens, I just went into just full-blown cringe.
Essentially, we coined the ultimate thrill title. So yeah, so your reaction to this?
I was just Dragon, when they do this kind of joke in something like Scott Pilgrim, it works because it fits the tone of Scott Pilgrim. It fits what they're going for. This is just something else, man. It inherently makes me uncomfortable on quite a few different levels. I don't know what to tell you. I think it kind of speaks for itself, honestly.
The only thing I really want to say is I'm still amazed that this made it on the kids.
Oh, I am too, by all means, yeah.
Especially just in the climate of, again, even the censorship today is like you can be as violent as you want, but if you're sexual, then we got a problem.
Right, and this is pretty overtly sexual. I mean, it's not even like coded. It's just there.
Because I mean, you could always basically you could say she's just excited that, oh god, it's like, this is gonna be the last stunt. But there's a moment when we get to the climax, there's no way around that.
Yeah.
So basically, Batman jumps from as the thing right before the thing crashes
have
into
to
the
repeat
wall.
it? Do you really have to verbally go through it?
No, I'm getting to what Batman does here. Okay.
All right.
Thing crashes. They're riding on the way down, and then it looks like, okay, this is going to be the end. Batman has a parachute because classic Batman. He's always prepared because he's a smart guy, and this is great. So Roxy's thinking. The whole point of the episode is kind of in this last moment here, which again definitely gets distracted when we do all the weird sexual stuff. But the point seems to be, she says, I see your game is, live to play another day. And he cuffs her, and then the cops are coming. No, this is my kind of game. And you lost. Where Batman's outgrown the Catwoman shenanigans of Batman the Animated Series. And that's the point of the episode where he's not going to go in for this sort of thing anymore. His heart's been broken by Catwoman. He doesn't do the thrill-seeking thing anymore. It's like, no, this is a game. You need to be stopped. There's no wiggle room. People shouldn't be rooting for you. That's not how this works.
I don't necessarily think it's that profound of an ending or anything, but fair enough.
Well, I'm not saying it's profound. I'm just saying it's like I think it's what they're going for with the episode.
Yeah.
Well, final thoughts.
I honestly got nothing. I really just this is I mean, there might be other episodes that are objectively worse, but I don't think any of them like just offended and baffled me in quite the same way. There's just something about this that just really rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm having trouble putting it to words.
You know what? Okay, here's the weirdest thing. Okay, so I saved this for the final thoughts. Okay, so when I first watched the episode way back when, I had your exact experience.
Okay.
I gotta tell you though, coming back to it years later, I want to be clear: the problems are still there. Okay, let me make no mistake. The over-sexual thing, the third act, always still doesn't work. But I gotta tell you, it does hold up better than I thought on the rewatch. It's not great, but the fun stuff that I like, I love the Penguin stuff is like I'm enjoying the episode because of those elements. Like I love the Penguin stuff. I like the first act, I like the concept of Roxy Rocket. I mean, that sort of stuff is really playing for me. It's just, again, I like it's not as profound as it should be in the episode, I guess. I like the idea, like, kind of Batman, he's moved on from the thrill-seeking cat and mouse games, and kind of years later realizing when you go back to it in the rewatch, it's like, okay, yeah, we're just showing that Batman's grown up along the whole Bat family angle of this new season. I like that element of it. So, again, I appreciate the fun aspects of it. Again, not definitely. Look, there's no real substance to this thing. It's just kind of fun in places for sure. But again, just gets really weird.
I guess maybe that's another thing that kind of feels like Whiplash is that the last couple episodes that we've talked about, is not great as they are. They still have things to say. They still have pretty deep, meaningful themes, even if they aren't executed very well.
Yeah. I mean, a part of me kind of wishes. Now we're going to see Roxy Rocket pop up once more. Once we bridge into some of the Superman crossovers, she pops up one more time in that. But a part of me feels it's like one scene. Don't get it. All right. Again, it would have been interesting. It feels like it would have been more interesting, just given kind of like I think thematic what they're going for. If if they had just adapted the comic in both stories, which, you know, Catwoman is Freeman, Roxanne. Sorry, I keep saying Rock. I keep wanting to say Roxanne Ritchie, but it's Roxy Rocket. The other RR. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, the whole Roxy Rocket, you know, Catwoman story, because again, those two characters, that's the point of those two characters, and kind of like reflecting them with Batman. That story seemed like it might have been more interesting if we just kind of were able to get both stories in there or something, or revisit in that context. But as you can tell, I think as the community in total can tell, there's not a lot of places to go at Roxy Rocket outside of like a cool gimmick with her riding the rock. There's not much there.
All right, but next one, Dragon, I can almost guarantee I'm going to love it, so cue us up.
A death in the family. Gordon on a manhunt. A bat manhunt. A foe rising as a night falls. Can the Bat family endure this recent tragedy? Will the bat signal be lit one last time? Is this the end of Batman? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Over the Edge! Over the edge, over the edge. I don't know. I don't think any of the puns deserve a tag.